Welcome to Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar here on STL Sports Central. All content provided by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Boots on the ground everywhere in the South. Joe Roderick covering SEC Media Days. Brenden Schaeffer at All-Star Week festivities. I'm Stefan Caray. Last night, what fun it was for the viewers that could really decipher the broadcast yesterday, and for those that were actually in the building, the Home Run Derby 2025. Cal Raleigh, the champion. All right, let's talk about it. Very, very interesting group of players, but a very entertaining tournament this year.
Yeah, no
Brenden,
doubt
I'll let you
about
go first. Yeah, you were the one that was there.
Yeah, I'll jump in. It was actually cool. I wasn't necessarily locked in on every swing. Being my first home run derby, I wanted to kind of take in the scenes a little bit. It was kind of funny, a little unfortunate to be kind of standing there on the concourse beyond left field, and a lot of fans had their gloves, and very quickly they kind of realized, man, they're really going to have to hit a blast to be able to hit it all the way to the concourse. But you did have who was it that left the stadium? Was that O'Neal Cruz went above 500 feet? I mean, you had some bombs hit last night. There's no doubt about it, and it really was a good production. It was cool to see Matt Olson and kind of the love that he was getting from the Braves fans here. Obviously, you know, he didn't advance very far, but there was a lot of excitement in the building, and it's just crazy to be here, boots on the ground, guys, like you said, because you get a real feel for just the excitement. It feels like a lot of times we talk about baseball, what baseball could be doing better and what they don't do enough of, but it's really clear being here and seeing all the festivities surrounding this entire All-Star week, really. It's not just the game, but it's been 4 days of action. You kind of get a sense for just really how many things are going right with the game of baseball right now.
And I'll add on to this because I've been to a handful of these games too. You talk to the players, and the players at this point, they're ready for a break. A lot of people that cover the players and cover the game, they're ready for a break. Like, Stefan, I can only imagine like your dad being there. I mean, he has done every single game, that's been on FanDuel the entire season. Like, I get wanting a break. But you do see like the fans love it. Like you will see every single jersey will be represented in one way or another as you walk the concourse tonight at Truist. People will tune in for the game. The players that are there are having a good time. Like you saw Shohei Ohtani and Suarez last night, like have their little run in and they're joking around and everything. Like you see the guys that are there having fun and enjoying themselves. And you do get a sense that, okay, there are a lot of people that are taking this week off and are just having a full reset, but there are a lot of people that they live for this. And this is a once in a lifetime experience for a lot of people.
Well, Atlanta's a big metropolitan city. It's the heart of the South. So you would expect that with that big population, you're going to have fans of tons of different teams. And I think you make a really good point, Joe, about the festivities of this All-Star break. It's one of the few All-Star events, not just the Home Run Derby, but also the game itself that's maintained its purity, that's maintained the fact that it's still a version of baseball, right? You look at the NBA All-Star game, there's not a whole lot of trying going on. You have to try in the MLB All-Star game, regardless of whether it means anything in the end. There isn't the home field advantage on the line. That's something that I think has really caused fans to flock toward watching it and to enjoy the game and enjoy the different events. Now, they've done a nice job building up the players, and Cal Raleigh winning last night was phenomenal for his family. I'm close with his cousin, and they were just ecstatic for him. But it was great to see the ball flying out of the yard, to see the fans reacting the way that they did, even though their beloved Atlanta Braves are struggling this season in 2025. Still a really good venue for that event last night.
Oh, it's a great venue. And just watching all of the things going on around the ballpark, inside the ballpark, they are really doing a nice job. And was actually in a meeting of baseball writers, had a chance to hear both Tony Clark and Rob Manfred speak this morning. And, it was a topic of conversation. Manfred was asked about, there was a point in time where MLB elected to take events out of Georgia due to various reasons and political reasons. And, they said, what's the reason that now is the right time to bring it back? And, for whatever anybody might think about all of those various issues, that Manfred really just focused on the positives of just how amazing the buildup has been here at Truist Park and the Battery, and look, people say, oh, I think the stadium should always be downtown. And there's, lots of thoughts that people have about those sorts of things. But when you're here and you just see how they've kind of taken the concept of Ballpark Village, like you have in St. Louis, and said, what if we just plopped it somewhere where it wasn't downtown and we had a lot of room to expand it and really make it something that's really built up in a party atmosphere? And so, like, the facilities here are just so tremendous. And the fans, as you mentioned, Stefan, are flocking from all over. So it really is a very compelling place to hold an event like this in a week like this, starting with the weekend's activities. You had the draft on Sunday, which still MLB, I think, is trying to build that up a little bit more. They'd like to see maybe some of the players that are drafted actually be on site rather than via, video conferencing for their draft parties. But there's just a lot of really cool things happening down here. And I think that baseball has done a pretty good job with this one.
Joe, I'd like to continue on with you here. We're going to talk about Tony Clark and Rob Manfred a little bit later in the show. But last night we discussed, prior to the home run derby, our picks. You were going with, I believe, Oneil Cruz. He may have been robbed, considering the controversy surrounding Cal Raleigh and Brent Rooker. My brother, as some of you well know, is the play-by-play man for the the Athletics, that are currently living in Sacramento for the next few years. He was frustrated with the result. 0.8 of an inch was the difference between Cal Raleigh and Brent Rooker's home runs. And Oneil Cruz might have won it all had Cal Raleigh not advanced.
I will say this, as far as the tiebreaker goes, I didn't know going into it that they were going off distance. When I saw they tied, because the old tiebreaker was how many home runs you had up until that point. So I really thought, like, there should have been no debate. Like, Cal Raleigh has 38 home runs. Like, yeah, you send him on. Like, we'll fix the rules however we need to see fit for that. But Rooker afterwards saying, like, oh, I wish I would have known that. Were you gonna go out there and hit a ball? Like,
what's gonna be different?
It was less than an inch that you missed it by. What difference were
you got to swing a little harder. He would have swung a little harder.
Right.
That is kind of funny.
I didn't quite understand that. I did like the new format, though. I like that they went away from ranking them and having it bracket play from the beginning, because you and I talked about it yesterday. And Brenden, I mean, you let me know your sense of it, being there for the first time. It always seemed like after that first round, it was kind of like a deep breath, like, okay, let's, we already saw, the next four guys, like, we've already seen them hit. I'm going to go do whatever, and I'll come back for the finals. But at least yesterday it was, we're going to watch these guys go hit some dingers, and then it gets into bracket play, and then it gets fun. So I did like that it was just a free-for-all with the first 8, and then from there you went to the brackets.
Yeah, I think that does help, and that you did feel the excitement, I think, from the first round when that was going on. But I don't know if there's a perfect system for it. I really don't. Like, you could see tweets from people posting, 20 years ago what the Derby was like. And it's like, yeah, it was nice to be able to watch every ball fly out. But I don't know. I think I understand that they're continually trying to tweak it, but it's still, at the end of the day, hitting home runs. So simplifying that process a little bit more compared to, like, starting the bracket from the beginning, I think was something that was probably pretty favorable. And it seemed like the atmosphere remained pretty strong throughout. So I think at least the people in the ballpark continued to be entertained as well.
And they, they did a good job too of the guys that they had in there. Like, sure, I would have loved to have seen, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani in there. Like, I wish there was, a way they could force them into it, and, there would be no repercussions with their swing afterwards. But it's not going to happen. But it did seem like they got guys in there that were fun to watch. Like, I wish Elly De La Cruz would have been in it too. Like, watching Elly De La Cruz against Oneil Cruz would have been a lot of fun. And you get those mini rivalries of guys that are, perceived as being friends around baseball for that. So I think even, having all these first timers, I thought was really, really good too in having that last night.
Saw a really funny tweet, especially surrounding Jazz Chisholm, and it discussed how he would have won the home run derby if the objective was to kill the earthworm population of northern Georgia. And I thought that was really, really well taken, as he hit 3 home runs and struggled mightily in the home run derby. And sometimes you see guys getting their swings messed up.
he wanted to make sure that all the kids out there in the field were heavily involved in the Derby last night, and he did a great job of that.
He certainly did. The most repeatable swing usually wins. Cal Raleigh takes home the title, the trophy. Junior Caminero did a really nice job in his swings as well. And I think what was really cool to see was how invested each of the players were, and they wanted to win this particular event. It isn't necessarily a resume builder. It isn't something that's going to help you get in the Hall of Fame at the end of the day. It's not what's going to get you bigger numbers on your contract. It's just something that, for pride's sake, you could say, yeah, I won the home run derby, and they made it their own this year. And I think that's what made it extra entertaining.
I mean, for somebody like Todd Frazier, though, I mean, he was there at the set last night. There's zero chance that Todd Frazier's getting work on a TV broadcast in 2025 if he doesn't win a home run derby when he did. So, maybe down the road, it'll earn you an extra paycheck along the way. But it does. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't know if you saw the note yesterday too, that 3 of the 8 guys in the derby last night, if they would have won, would have made more last night in the derby than they are making the entire season because they're still in arbitration right now. So
yes, absolutely. The money aspect, usually you kind of throw it out the window because the guys that are making money typically donate half of it or more than half of it to charity. But it is real money. $1 million is real money for a lot of these guys. So wish nothing but the best for the runner-ups, the contestants. I know my brother is very much upset that Brent Rooker didn't win. Everything I've heard about Brent is that he's an amazing person. So I wish him nothing but the best as well. Now, let's discuss real quickly before we get into our next point that this show is powered by Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. He's Joe Roderick. I'm Stefan Caray. We lost Brenden Schaeffer for a moment, and he has some interesting news from Rob Manfred, from Tony Clark, the head of the MLB Players Association, which hopefully we'll get to later in the show. If not, we'll have to save that.
He's coming back right now. So
okay. All right. Well, he is coming back right now. Wonderful. Well, Brenden, this is perfect timing because I was putting you on the spot. Tony Clark, Rob Manfred, these are such great events. But I think one of the conversations that's circulating around baseball fans is, are we even going to have a season coming up soon with the new collective bargaining agreement coming out? What's that going to look like, and what are they doing to try and ease the tensions?
Yeah, and boys, I think the reason, I hope you can still hear me, the reason I had dropped off before is my phone was being cooked by the Georgia sun. So just in case anybody was wondering about
that. I've seen where you were standing at the moment. I knew I knew that's what happened.
I was sitting out, the field's over this way behind me. I was sitting in like the auxiliary press, but outdoors, where if you were somebody with a TV credential yesterday, you would have been in great shape, potentially catching some home run balls. But inside the glass, everybody's operating a little bit quietly in there. So I stepped outside. So yeah, about that whole CBA, I'm not exactly encouraged. Baseball writers this morning had a chance to hear from both Tony Clark and Rob Manfred, which was really great of both of them to kind of do that Q&A and update everybody on what's going on. But it's still being treated as like, well, it's a ways away. And if you ask the Players Association side of things, they say, look, our hope is that these negotiations can take place behind closed doors and not be, something that gets drawn out through the media, which inevitably, is going to happen because it just seems as though things leak out and leverage is played as these things approach. And so, it feels like there's real concern, but he did express optimism. It's just hard to really believe, guys, because we really feel like the two sides of the league and the Players Association are still far apart on various issues. From the Players Association side of things, Tony Clark kind of talked about, we don't know what it is that the league is going to present to us, but what we're obviously seeing them express that they value is this notion of a salary cap. And so I really believe that it's going to be a significant sticking point in this next round of negotiations. And I don't really get any sense that the players are going to be collectively for that in any way, because look, you could say, well, we'll give you a salary floor as well. I just don't know if on the players' side of things, their belief is that those benefits will kind of match up with what's equitable. I think we're in for a long fight with that one, boys. So 2026 MLB season happens. December 1, 2026 would be the kind of the drop dead date on potentially a work stoppage. And nothing I heard today was necessarily anything that makes me think we're any closer to resolving the issue before that time potentially comes. Unfortunately, it's not going to sneak up on us. We know what's in the offing, but it's going to suck if that ends up being the case for sure.
Brenden Schaeffer and Major League Baseball, as well as the Players Association, all taking steps forward. You in the literal sense, them in the figurative sense, trying to get the 20.
That's good. That was real good, Stefan.
You like that? Is really a great shot of Truist Field. And this is a really big conversation. We talked with Tony Clark during spring training. He is a highly educated, well-spoken person that understands the nuance of this issue. Baseball, when you get contracts of $700 million over 10 years, well, they've kind of let the genie out of the bottle. And if I were a player, I know I wouldn't want to take a haircut if I know that my value is that. But the reality is we all want the games to be played however they can be played and for everybody to be taken care of in the right way. Now, before we get into our final point, it is a quick reminder that this show is brought to you by DraftKings. All content actually is brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Baseball season is officially underway, and it's time to step up to the plate with DraftKings Pick 6. Think of DraftKings Pick 6 as your fastball right down the middle. It's the easiest way to play for cash and take a shot at a big win. Just select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. Cash in your baseball knowledge. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, we've entered the final third of our show, and we're actually going to talk about the All-Star game tonight. We've talked about the Home Run Derby. We've talked about the potential imminent doom of Major League Baseball. Now we need to talk about the best players in the world meeting in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, we're not in the prediction business, but you have to imagine, brightest stage, biggest stars, there's probably going to be some juiced baseballs going. Offensively, who do you think is going to be an impact player or a pick to click, if you will? Beginning with Joe, let's hear your thoughts.
I'm going Acuna. He's there at his home stadium. I just think he is going to want to put on a show for the hometown crowd. I could see him, or I'm gonna steal the other obvious one of Freddie Freeman too. I can't wait to hear the ovation that Freddie Freeman gets in Atlanta when he steps up to the plate for the first time. That I could see him doing something special tonight as well.
All right, Brenden.
Those are good ones. I mean, Shohei's going to do something, isn't he? Don't you think?
I feel like
he's bound to. But by the way, here's one. I'll go off board, not offensively. I'll say that there's a moment that wows people from Jacob Mizorowski tonight too. He's going to come into this game and pitch, and I think he's going to look good. That's my prediction for his outing. You smiled about that, Joe.
Tonight?
Yes, 100% I do. I believe it had been even said that, like, yeah, we want to showcase him and use him, and so we're going to find a way to get him into the game. I think they probably will, and I think if they do, he's going to pitch well. I mean, say what you will about the controversy of, the Phillies. It was very funny reading the quotes that the Phillies had to say about it, but then you kind of find out, well, one of their guys was asked if he wanted to pitch and didn't, and the other guy was pitching on a Sunday, so, like, it maybe got a little bit overblown, but I also think it just adds a little bit of the intrigue. Not necessarily fair to the kid because, he's having the moment of his life, right? 5 starts into the big leagues and he's an all-star and he's earned that, right? But that was something, too, that Rob Manfred was asked about this morning and said, like, it was basically, the commissioner's office at that point, and he said, I think I made the right decision on that one. There are times where I don't want that to become a precedent, where you say, 5 starts is enough to say guy's an all-star. But in this circumstance, there were a number of replacements that were required for this game. And, he kind of stood by the idea that Mizorowski is a blend of all the things that you would want, and the merit is there as well because of his really good performances so far. So I think he's going to get into the game and look pretty good. That's my prediction on that side.
And I think if you have a big concern about how many innings he's pitched, stretch him out. Let him throw 6 innings tonight. Just control the world. Let him throw
Save
6
the
innings.
pen.
This is exactly. Let him go eat up, be the mop-up guy, the middle reliever, if things get ugly or they don't. Let him go out there and pitch extremely well. If I had to go with someone, though, Jacob Wilson just jumps off the screen to me. And I know that people who are unfamiliar with his game are going to look at me and say, oh, well, he's a contact hitter.
Homer take.
Yeah, well, I don't. It's a familial take. And the reason why I say this is I watched Jacob Wilson at Double-A. I watched Jacob Wilson come up through the system. You know how many strikeouts he had his entire college career in over 500 plate appearances? 31. The guy puts bat to ball. He is an unbelievable hitter. He goes out there and he executes regardless of who the pitcher is. And I think that's something that we're going to see. He goes in over Bobby Witt. He goes in over some of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball. And yeah, his average teetered off a little bit. Yeah, he's not really a long ball hitter, but he carves up really good starting pitching. So he's a player I'm really looking forward to seeing in this particular game tonight.
I'm just giving you trouble, Stefan. Obviously you've got some familiarity there, and so I'll be excited to see a guy like that too, because you think about all the power arms in an all-star game, you might think lots of strikeouts, but that's a guy who can combat that with his bat-to-ball skills. But I do have to laugh at Samuel's comment here. Doesn't McGreevy have 5 starts? Joe, was he overlooked for a potential role on the NL team, even though he is not even currently on the big league roster for the Cardinals?
Yeah,
Michael
100%.
McGreevy's never been overlooked.
Yeah, 100%.
No, Michael's never been overlooked.
He's overlooked by his own GM. I mean, he's...
You said who? Who can I call up? Oh, no, I don't even... Who?
I didn't say that. Disavow.
That was me.
No,
yeah,
no,
hand up. That's me. That's Joe Roderick saying that. That's me.
I may have contributed slightly to the sarcasm of it all, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh man! Well, we're having a lot of fun. On this show.
By the way, so I mean, we talk about it like with the way it is. I mean, with the way the All-Star game has been the last several years now. I mean, it's damn near impossible for like a pitcher to go out there and be named MVP at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just getting. I mean, it has to be like Paul Skeens would have to go out there and throw an immaculate inning in that first inning and just have make the first 3 guys look so stupid at the plate with 3 strikeouts to be considered, 3 hours later for that MVP award.
An immaculate inning might be the only thing that could do it, unless there's you don't really see a pitching change mid-inning, maybe. I don't know. If there's a jam that a closer comes in and strikes out the side after the bases are loaded, nobody's out. That's really, the starter can do it via the immaculate. A closer could do it as a fireman putting out a blaze. Otherwise, it's who hits the homers. Who can a defensive play, boys? Do you think a defensive play could rise into consideration if it was as spectacular as the guy last night robbing somebody in the home run derby? Is there a play that you could make defensively that could put you over the top? That's always a fun consideration.
I look back to the tie game. When Torrey Hunter robbed Barry Bonds, I think. Something like that, yeah. I think if you rob a home run from a player like a Barry Bonds, I think that'd be worthy.
Well, I want to disagree with you guys on 2 things real quick. One, you can get a defensive play. MLB is going to find a way to make a 5-star catch for Pete Crow Armstrong. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
Whoa.
The second one.
Hey, you know how you make that? You put Carl Ravitch on the call and just,
Joe's out for blood today. And we're being nice on the show, but I think another way that we can discuss it is a pitcher can win MVP. His name just happens to be Shohei Ohtani. So yes, that's what I'm looking at. Is Shohei Ohtani can win MVP, and by effect, a pitcher can win MVP in the All-Star game.
Do they? I mean, God, have they mentioned? I don't. I mean, I haven't heard anything or read anything. Have they mentioned if he is eligible? Like if he is willing to throw at all today?
There's no chance. I this is me speculating. I haven't seen either. I would be stunned to my core just because of how early in the ramp up process he is. I won't even say almost. There is 0 chance that happens. But it's a fun thought. In a future year, we could see that again, I'm sure. But he just started getting back into games, so I think they'll be careful with that. I want to pose this one to you guys, though. We haven't talked about the Cardinal representative. What do we see from Brenden Donovan tonight? He's the kind of guy that it feels like he gets into the game and maybe gets a little bit of run. I'd love to see him out in the field or taking a bat or 2 in this one.
I would like to see them, because he has the utility gold glove. I would love to just see
Yes.
he go out there and play the second inning or second base for an inning and then move him to left. I would love to see them showcase his versatility out there and let him play his two main positions today.
He could play a number of spots he might be one of those guys too that after you get, the starters, their ABs, he stays in the rest of the game, but floats around a little bit. That would be kind of fun. I don't know if that's something you'd probably have to have that conversation with the coaching staff. And look, the Cardinals have even been a little bit hesitant to put him in the outfield this year, but he's a special player. And I just wanted to make sure I took a moment to say that it's really exciting that he gets to be showcased in this way. Because I've been on the Brenden Donovan train for a number of years now, and to see that his numbers were requisite this year to get this kind of consideration is really cool. And he is one of those kind of heart and soul guys for the Cardinals as well. So it's good that he and his family get to have this moment. I think that's really neat.
100%.
I think they need to stick a camera down in the batting cage because you're not going to see him on the bench very much. He's going to be swinging, working extra hard. He's going to be taking early work for the All-Star game. And
hey, he's out there right now. No,
yeah, you might just need to go take a camera and get a stream over to FanDuel and see if we can get you a whole channel worth, a whole block, a couple hours block worth of Brenden Donovan behind the scenes work. And just show that next level intensity that he brings in terms of his preparation. But it's great to see him. It's great to see a Cardinals representative in Atlanta. For me, especially, Atlanta is a place that is really special, and getting to see the city showcase itself to the baseball world with this ballpark and with this fan base is phenomenal. Now, Atlanta left some sour taste in my mouth after they left Busch Stadium, but it's good to see a Cardinal going in, and hopefully he can get his retribution on that field against everybody in the league and not just the team with the tomahawk on their jersey.
Well said. Yeah, I think he'll get into the game tonight and hopefully make Cardinals fans proud, which I know that he will. Like you said, his work ethic and everything. It's an honor to get this chance too, but I think it's one that he's not going to take lightly if he gets into the game tonight.
Well, Joe and Brenden, do you guys have any final thoughts? I know we talked about a whole lot of stuff. We're not going to get too deep into the Cardinals. We talked about the draft yesterday. What are you looking for in this game? What do you think can keep your eyes on the screen as it pertains to the All-Star game? Because, again, it is really more of a scrimmage. It's not it's a friendly between the American League and the National League. What will keep your eyeballs glued to the screen for tonight?
I'm looking forward to seeing if Brenden can track down Livy Dunn somewhere in Truist tonight. That's
right. She's probably here, huh?
She is here. Yeah, she's 100% there. So go find her.
I think that probably would be. I get home after the All-Star week. Hey, honey, what did you do? Well, I spent the All-Star game tracking down this gymnast. Yeah, everybody thinks she's really great. I don't think that's going to play well, Joe. So I might just stay out, hang out in the auxiliary box. There's no risk of her showing up there. So I think that'll be my play.
Well, and you were the wrong type of tiger, so I don't think that's going to work out too well for you, man. We've got the SEC coverage.
I've got dozens of reasons why that's not going to work out, and that is just the way I would have it.
So, mind, and you should take that as a compliment.
Yeah,
you know what? All other qualities I think are perfect. You would fit. You are a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
and Godspeed.
Better mustache. Brenden Schaeffer.
Better mustache. Yeah. I mean, that's maybe debatable. And I've gotten several comments from folks I haven't seen in a while. And Joe even has commented a couple of times down here on my hair. He goes, "Really, no hat today? You're not going to cover that up?" And it just kind of flies everywhere. So we deal with the hand that we're given, Joe and Stefan. So we're going to make do. We're going to get through the humidity has been a tough one on my hair for sure.
Yep, it is very hot. If you want to know how hot, you can look up Ichiro Suzuki's favorite American saying. That is online, and you can go see that somewhere else.
Wow.
Here. But I think that's as good of a place as any to wrap this one up. This has been Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar. All content on STL Sports Central is presented by DraftKings. For Brenden Schaeffer and Joe Roderick, I'm Stefan Caray. All-Star game tonight in Atlanta. Brenden Donovan makes his first All-Star appearance. Thank you guys for joining us.